Good morning, my dear friends. Today I am going to explain Iswaran the storyteller. Okay, some of the paragraphs we have already done, so the rest we are doing today. As I told you in the beginning, okay, on the first explanation, that this story is all about the relationship between a master and his cook. Mahendra was the cook, okay, and Iswaran was Mahendra is the master, and he was doing some odd job, okay, of writing something, and Iswaran is the cook of Mahendra. He just prepare meal for his master and clean the clothes, iron it, and do some errand works. I was studying in the junior class at that time and was watching the whole drama from the rooftop. This was the narrator who was talking about the whole incident when the big elephant, okay, entered in the school courtyard or the playground. I don't know what came over me suddenly. I grabbed a cane from the hands of one of the teacher and ran down the stair into the pen. So the actually the narrator, he's here showing his might, his strength, valor, and courage. Now, if I will tell you just to tell a strange story, uh, from your class, so some of you will definitely just narrate some story and. So one study I am telling you like that if a student is talking about that I was traveling somewhere and I could see that in a mud, okay, one big truck, okay, lorry was stuck, and I see that the driver was struggling very hard. So I came out and just pull the truck, okay, on my hand and just bring it out from the mud. So this shows that the boy is very much hyperbolic, okay, and just exaggerating his action and showing some kind of false courage. Same case is here with the narrator. He's telling that I was very much upset, unhappy. I just became very angry and took a cane, means a stick, from a teacher's hand. And now see what he did there. I grabbed a cane from the hands of one of the teachers and ran down the stairs and into the open. The elephant grunted, okay, and menacingly swung a branch of a tree, okay, which it held in its trunk. And the elephant, okay, threw the branch of a tree, okay, that was in its trunk. It stamped its feet, okay, kicking up a lot of mud and dust. This shows the anger of the elephant. It looked frightening, but I moved slowly towards it, just like a hero of a Bollywood movie, that they are fighting with animal like elephant. It stick in hand. People were watching the scene, hypnotized from the nearby housetop. Means all the people were watching all these scenes, okay, hypnotized means dumbfounded, surprised. The elephant looked at me red-eyed, means very angrily, ready to rush towards me, means was ready to attack me and tear me, okay, up. It lifted its trunk, okay, and trumpet loudly. This was a roaring just like a lion. At the moment I moved forward and mustering, okay, all my force, means just collecting all my energy, uh, whacked its third toenail, okay, on the quick. The beast looked stunned for a moment, then it shivered from head to foot and collapsed. Means the narrator is telling that with the help of that cane which I was carrying, just a hit on his head, and finally the beast, means the elephant, collapsed. Means fainted there. See the nonsense explanation. He just foolish fictional explanation or false explanation is giving, just like a movie scene. Recently, I saw a movie. Okay, in this lockdown, Judha Akbar. Okay, I had seen this movie initially. So in Judha Akbar, I had seen that the main actor, that is Ritik Roshan, was fighting with an mad elephant, and finally he defeated. So I saw many fictional movie like Chris, that one man is there, okay, and we just roaming in the sky. He's flying in the sky. So these all are fictional and false, but it was giving a kind of thrill to the audience and for the filmmakers. Same case is here with the Iswaran, okay, the storytellers, who was giving a fictional or false explanation in order to satisfy his, fantasy, or his, he wanted to just entertain himself. I would leave the story and collapsed. At this point, Iswaran would leave the story okay unfinished and get up mumbling, and will start saying something okay inaudibly, and just it is unfinished. And what happened after that, he does not explain this. I will be back, okay, after lighting the gas, okay, and warming up the dinner. Now he's telling that let me prepare the meal, okay, for you, and then I'm coming back. Once again, I will tell you the story. Mahendra, means the master, who had been listening with rapt attention, means with full attention, would be left hanging. Means he was just left hanging. Means refers to left hanging refers to that he was waiting for his arrival so that he could continue the story and finish it. So he was very much uh, well versed, okay, in the building of curiosity for the listener. Mahendra, who had been listening with rapt attention, would be left hanging. When he returned, Iswaran would not pick up the thread of the story right away. And when he will come back, he will not start the story from where he has ended. He will just start with different story, okay, with different incident. So Mahendra would have to remind him that the conclusion was pending. Even the master was wanted to just listen, okay, his ending of this story. This shows that he was very much curious to know what is the ending of this story, means what happened next. Well, a veterinary doctor was summoned, okay, veterinary means animal doctor, to revive the animal, okay. Iswaran would shrug casually, means very lightly, he just Mahendra would have to remind him, okay, him that the conclusion was pending. Well, a veterinary doctor was summoned, means called, to revive the animal, to take care of the animal. Iswaran would shrug casually, means this was his usual expression, a kind of gesture, a physical movement that shows that he was taking it very lightly and telling that, yeah, what will happen? The doctor came, okay, and treated the animal. 2 days later, it was led away, okay, by its manhunt, okay, to the jungle. And after 2 days, it was the caretaker of the, that is Mahawat, the caretaker of the elephant, who took the elephant in the jungle. Means now he is well. Well, how did you manage to do it, okay, Ishwaran? How did you bring down the beast? This was the question he was asking. The narrator was curious to know, but he does not just tell him that the story he was telling, it's completely false one. It has something to do with Japanese, okay, art, I think, sir. And now he gives some references of Japanese art and music and something. By the help of that, he, under the spell of that, he have done this. He has done this, sir. Karate or jiu-jitsu, it is called. I have read about it somewhere. It temporarily, okay, paralyzes the nervous system. You see, not a day passed without Iswaran, okay, recounting some story packed with adventure. Means this was his knack of telling a story all the time, and all the story of Iswaran is just like the adventurous one, horror one, okay, and suspense one. This is the specialty of Iswaran's story. Whether the story was credible or not, means it was credible means means truth or not, but it was. Mahendra enjoyed listening to it because of the inimitable, okay, way in which it was told. Means very nicely or strangely or uniquely it was narrated. Ishwaran seemed to more than make up for the absence of a TB, okay, in Mahendra's living quarters. So the narrator is telling that in absence of TV in the house of Mahendra, it was Iswaran who was just picturizing him everything. One morning when Mahendra was having breakfast, Iswaran asked, "Can I make something special for dinner tonight, sir?" So he was asking this. After all, today is an auspicious day. According to tradition, we prepare various delicacies to feed the spirits of our ancestors today, sir. See, he was very much traditional also. And he's telling that it is very important day today, and we prepare some food, okay, some meal to in order to feed our ancestors, means the dead one. That night, Mahendra enjoyed the most delicious dinner and complimented Iswaran. This shows that he was a very nice cook. On his culinary skills, means cooking skill, he seemed very pleased, but unexpectedly launched into a most garish account involving the supernatural. A very unique one, very strange one, a very unparalleled one. Means he just started telling me one supernatural story. Supernatural story refers to the story in which ghost and horror scenes are there. You know, sir, this entire factory area we are occupying was once a burial ground. Here, now he's telling that the place we are living, initially it was a graveyard. Okay, the dead body were burned or just buried in these grounds, and now see the living place is there. He started Mahendra was jerked of the pleasant reverie he had drifted into after the satisfying meal. Means he was very much surprised after the meal. He was enjoyed the meal, but he was suddenly shocked. I knew on the first day itself when I saw a human skull lying on the path, and this was his prediction. This was not the fact, it was his prediction, that he's telling that I knew everything about this because I found a human a skull here. Even now I came across number of skulls and bones. Iswaran continued. Now he's telling the story continuously, randomly. He went on to narrate how he sometimes saw ghost at night. He's telling that I see every night ghost. I am not easily frightened by these things, sir. I am a brave fellow. But one horrible ghost of a woman which appears off and on at midnight during the full moon. It is an ugly creature, with matted hair and a shriveled face like a skeleton holding a fetus in its arms. This is the appearance of the ghost he is going to narrate before his master. He is telling that I usually see a ghost, female ghost, who just carry a baby. Actually, fetus here, the small fetus, woman which appears of what is that? Fetus, small baby. Okay, Mahendra shivered at the descriptions and interrupted rather sharply. You are crazy, Iswaran. Means if any one of you will tell a story like this, that I have seen a ghost last night in my house, I was just uh, woke up in I was thirsty in the night and I woke up just and in order to have a glass of water. So when I went in kitchen, so the kitchen door were luckily it was opened. Unluckily it was open, and I could see that one ghost was sitting and talking something very dangerously. So this kind of actually a story he was telling to his master Mahendra. So he was telling that it is unbelievable, not credible. There are no such things as the ghost or spirits. This is the reasoning. Those who have read science and those who are intellectuals one, they don't believe in spirits and ghosts. It is all a figment of your imagination. It is only uh, the thought of your mind. Get your digestive system examined, and maybe your head as well. Means get treatment of your mind. He is telling like this. You are talking nonsense. He left the room and retired for the night, expecting Iswaran to sulk for a couple of days. But the next morning he was surprised to find the cook as cheerful and talkative as ever. This shows that he was a very thick-skinned man. Thick-skinned man means he was not shy, he was not shameful, he was not feeling unhappy when he was badly treated. So this is the thick man. From that day on Mahendra, for all his brave talk, went to bed with a certain unease. Every night he peered into the darkness outside through the window next to his bed, trying to make sure that there was no movement, of dark shapes in the vicinity. But now the narrator was sorry, Mahendra was little bit surprised, okay, and he just started feeling upset, annoyed, unhappy, or uncomfortable uh, after hearing the story of ghost. But he could only see a sea of darkness with the twinkling light of the factory miles away. He had always liked to admire the milk white landscape on the full moon night. Now the narrator is telling that now the Mahendra, means the master, was also very much upset and annoyed, and now the ghost of the female ghost was just haunting him. But he could only see a sea of darkness. Sea of darkness means endless darkness. With the twinkling light of the factory miles away, he had always liked to admire the miles milk white landscape on the full moon night. Means he enjoyed, okay, he enjoyed the full moon night. But after hearing the story of ghost, he has just started, uh, looking the moon differently. Means he was a little bit frightened that anything may happen on that night. One night, Mahendra was woken up from his sleep by a low moan, okay, close to his window. Means it's a hallucination, okay. It was imagination of his mind. At first, he put it down to a cat prowling around for mice, but the sound was too guttural for a cat. Means initially he thought that it might be a mice and a rat. He registered the curiosity to look out, lest he should behold a sight which would stop his heart. But the wailing became, okay, louder and less feeling. Means the sound that was coming, he wanted to just know. Initially, he did not want to just know. He could not resist the temptation anymore. Lowering himself to the level of the window sill, he looked out at the white sheet of moonlight outside. Means he wanted to see that who is shouting and who is just making the noise and from where the sound is coming. He was unable to resist that temptation to know that who is actually the man, who is the thing, what is the thing. There, not too far away, was a dark, cloudy form clutching a bundle. Mahendra broke into a cold sweat. Okay, this shows that he was frightened and fell back on the pillow, panting. This shows that he was terrorized. As he gradually recovered from the ghastly experience, with the ghost, he began to reason with himself and finally concluded that it must have been some sort of auto suggestions, some trick that his subconscious had played on him. By the time he had got up, okay, in the morning, had a bath, and come out to have his breakfast, the horror of the previous night had faded from his memory. Means now it was deleted. Iswaran greeted him, okay, at the door with his lunch packer and his bag. Just as Mahendra was stepping out, Iswaran grinned and said, "Sir, remember the other day when I was telling you about the female ghost with a fetus in its arm? You were so angry with me for imagining things. Well, you saw her yourself last night." This shows that perhaps it was the Iswaran, okay, who was making a kind of sound in order to terrorize, okay, his master. Otherwise, how he could know that you see last night it was the fetus, it was the female ghost. Sir, remember the other day when I was telling you about the female ghost, okay, with a fetus in its arms? You were so angry with me for imagining things. Well, you say you saw her yourself last night. I came running, hearing the sound of mourning that was coming from your room. A chill went down Mahendra's spine. This shows that he was very much shocked that how he came to know about this, that I was terrified. It was a horror night, okay, last night. I could see a fetus, okay, a female ghost. So he was little bit surprised and also terrified. He did not wait for Iswaran to complete his sentence. He hurried away to his office and handed in his papers, okay, resolving to leave the haunted place, okay, the very next day. And he was terrified in such an extent that he was not able to leave, okay, able to just adjust and accommodate himself on that horrified place. And finally he left the place. This shows that Iswaran are very nice storytellers, and he can influence any intellectual, any academicians, or any good fellow who is having their reasoning and intellect, who is having their own thoughts and minds. So this shows that Iswaran can terrify anyone. And this story is actually a horror story, okay, and we just think that there is no ghost, no spirits, no female ghosts there in this world. This is only imagination. We should not frightened and fearful. All the best. God bless you all. You will do the question answer, okay, of this chapter.